and welcome to Coding Pirates Billund TV. Since we can't be here in the class, as you see, it's empty, and I have Jan, my co-teacher, here in the background, monitoring the chat. So please be nice. And if you have any questions during this session, please write them in the chat, and we will see what we can do. If you have any ideas to the game that we're making, also send them in the chat, and we will see if we can add them to the game. However, see if you can follow us in making this video game together, and hopefully you will all have a finished game by this session today. It's gonna be a roughly 30 minutes, 40 minutes session for today. But let's see what happens. This is all new for all of us, so I will start making the game now. So if you haven't downloaded Scratch, which is the program that you can see here on the screen, I'm just gonna open it up here. You'll see with the cat. You can download it if you search for Scratch offline in Google. Then you can follow, or you can use Scratch Open Browser. I think Jan can send a link in the chat for the download of the program if you should not have it. So, and if you find something going too fast, you can via YouTube go back in the video to see it again. So if I'm explaining something that you didn't quite understand, then you can just go back in the video and then see it again. Hopefully you can catch up to us. So let's start. So today we are making a game called, I would call it a bouncing ball game. We have a character that is going to avoid different objects. And I'm going to show you how to create your own objects, and also how to use Scratch predefined, Scratch own objects, such as the cat as you see on screen. So I'm just gonna explain some basics here for Scratch, and how this program works. To begin with, you have Scratch in 3 sections. You have here to the left, you have all the code. In the middle here, in the blank space, you have where we do all the coding, where we drag and drop all the code blocks. And on the right you have all your characters, your players, and the actual game on the top right. So just to give you an example of what how easy it is to make the cat move by your own controls, that will be the first thing that we're making, how to actually control the cat here. So first we need to go over to the far left, where you see all these colors, and you have to find the one called control. If your Scratch program for some reason is not in English, you can change the language on the top here, top left on the globe, to English. You have all the different languages, but if you want to follow the same as me, you can just choose English here. So to begin with, I'm gonna take out the blocks that I'm gonna need. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so to make a new save, we have a question. So quickly, just to make a new save of your game, or save what you're currently making, you can go up next to the globe here. It's where it says file, and you can say you can either create a new, or you can save the current one that you're making, or you can load one that you made before. So just to begin with my game, I'm actually gonna save it by pressing the save button. Then it opens a window where I have to give my file, my game, a name, and I'm gonna call it bouncing ball. And before you press save, be sure to know where you actually save it. So a good thing to do is select documents here on the left. So now I know I'm gonna save the game in documents. So I'm pressing save. So now my game is actually saved. Each time I save the game, it's going to be saved in that specific file. If you want to open it again, you can press file and then load, and then you just need to find the file. And I know it's in documents, and then you just have to press it and open it. So if you come back sometime, you just have to do it this way to open it. So that's how you save your game. Moving on from creating the movement of my cat here, I need the blocks if then, and I need 3 of these. So I'm just gonna drag the blocks and then that I need, and then I'm gonna put them together when I have all of them. We also need to find which key on our keyboard that we are gonna use, and to find that block you have to go to the light blue, which is sensing. You have all these different sensing blocks, and we are in need of the one called key, which looks at your keyboard, and you need one for each of these yellow or orange blocks. So we're just gonna drag 3 of these, and you might notice that it says key space. That's the long space bar on your keyboard. You can change it to whatever key that you want by just pressing the space, and then you can choose whatever keys you want. You can make it so difficult to move the character by having A and P to be the movement, but that's totally up to you how you want to make your game, or you could follow what I do. That's up to you guys. So we need a few more blocks to make the whole movement of the cat. So we need to go on to event. That's the yellow one. We need this one with the green flag. What this does is it activates our code whenever we start the game, and you start the game by pressing the green flag on the top right here, just above the game, and you stop it by pressing the red one right next to it. So now we have almost all of the blocks. We need one more thing, and the last one is also in control, the orange. It's called a forever, and I'm gonna explain what it actually does when we are going to use it. So now I'm just gonna put my blocks together, which is, so all of these, if as you see it has like a blank dark spot in all of these. This is where we're gonna put our blue blocks. So when you hold it over and it has this white edge, you know it's gonna click to it when you release your mouse button. So now you can see it actually attaches to the block itself, and you're gonna do this for all 3 of these. So now we have like a combination of blocks. Now we're gonna add them together so they come right underneath each other, so you have one big block to move around. If you wanna split these apart, you can't just take the top one and take it apart. You have to take them one at the bottom to like drag them away from each other. So if you have something that you want to split up, you need to take it from the bottom to split them. So I wouldn't be able to take the middle one out by just doing this. I would have to take them one at a time if I wanted to split them. So these 3 if blocks, we're gonna add them to our green flags. So these will activate when we start the game. However, we're actually missing 1 more block or 2 more blocks to make this work, because there's nothing inside the if blocks. So whatever, each time I press space, whatever is inside the if block, that's the code that activates, and that's going to be our movement blocks. So you have to go and find movement under motion. Movement, that's the blue one on the top left. Here you find all kinds of movement. You can turn, you can move, you can glide, you can teleport by just spawning in a different location. We are interested in the one called move, which is at the top, and the turn left and right. You have the first one. The first one is turn right, and the third one is turn left. And then what the number means by default is as 15. The number means how fast you're turning, basically. So 15 is a standard number. You can turn it up to move to turn faster or to turn slower, but that's also up to you. So what I'm gonna do before I add these blocks, I am actually gonna fix my keys first. So I want the first one here to be moving forward, and that should be my arrow. Let's see here, up, arrow up on the keyboard. So that would be, let's see if I can show you quickly. You know, you have the arrow keys down here. That's the keys that I'm gonna use. So arrow up for moving forward, and then I'm gonna add the move block. So this moves forward in the direction that I'm looking at. With right now the cat is looking to the right, so it's gonna move in that direction. Which is why we need the turn blocks to actually turn our direction where we're going. The next one is gonna be left arrow, and the third one is gonna be right arrow. And you can make this difficult for for the player by reversing, like adding, so when they want to go left they actually turn right, but that's something fun you can make. So for my left arrow I want to turn left, and that's the first block I have here, and for right I'm gonna add this here. So now you have the movement blocks inside. You have added all the movement blocks. However, we still have the forever that hasn't been added yet. What it does is it's gonna make the game listen for this code. If you don't use this, it will only run, or you can only use it once, which means you can only move in the first split second of the game. And you don't want that. You want to move all the time, which is why we need to have everything inside this forever, because we want to move all the time in the game. So you can take from the top here all your movement and add it inside the forever, and then you can add it to the green flag. So if you manage to do this, you should be able to press the green flag and then start moving your character. And if you have something else than a cat, you would be able to move that. So let's see if I manage to do this. What you will notice after I press the green flag is that the code is now lighting yellow. It has a yellow edge all around it. That means the code is active, that it's working, that something can be used. So if I go over to my game screen over here, I can start using my arrows. So you can see I can start turning, and by pressing the arrow up, I'm moving in the direction that the cat is looking, and then I can turn with left and right. So I'm not satisfied with how big my cat is, so I want to make it smaller, because I want to make it easier for it to dodge the balls that we're gonna implement into the game. And to make your character smaller, or any other thing that you make, you have the option right below the game. And what we're looking for is the one called size down here. It is set to 100. You can increase it or you can decrease it. I want to make it smaller, so I'm gonna do half of 100, so that would be 50. Let's see how small it's gonna be. Then you change the number and press enter on your keyboard. So that made my cat way smaller than it was before, which gives me more space in the game to do other kinds of things. So I can try and move again. So now I have a lot more space to move around. So I feel like my cat is moving a bit too fast to actually control it, so I'm gonna make it so I can't turn as fast. And as you remember, I have the numbers 15 here. I'm just gonna change it down to 10. That means I'm turning at a smaller speed. I'm turning slower than I was before. Yeah. So let's see what this does. Way better. So now I'm okay with the movement of my cat, but now I need something in the game that actually makes it difficult. I need something that I have to avoid, and that's where the ball is coming in. The object that I want to be bouncing around the map, and so I have to move around it. I'm gonna draw my own. I'm gonna show you how to draw it, or where you can draw your own characters, or where you can find already made characters in Scratch. So to do that, I have to move my camera, so because I'm hiding it. Let's see here. So I'm just gonna move me here. I think that's a better position. So in this area where you see I have my cat. This is where you have all the characters, the objects that you have in the game. Currently we only have the cat. So to add more, you can hover over the cat face down here at the bottom, where it says choose a sprite. And so you can choose a sprite by just clicking it. Then you come into the section where Scratch gives you a lot of sprites that you can. So a sprite is an image that you can use. So you can just choose any of these by clicking on them. So I'm just going to take the apple by just clicking it, and then it implements it into your game. But I want to create my own circle or something that I. Oh, is the sound away? Okay, can everybody else hear me? Is there an issue with the audio? Please let me know. Okay, so it seems we only have one guy with audio issues. Were you able to hear me before? Let's see. It's a good time for a break. So we are gonna take 2 minutes to see if everything is working. The audio is fine. Okay, so there must be an issue with the specific user, Taiwari, I think. Sorry if I pronounced that. Let's see, the audio is fine. Okay, I'm gonna continue, and hopefully, 1 second. Yes, so I'll continue, and I'll see if Jan can help the guy having audio issues. So this is a video, so you can go back if you missed something, and it's also going to be uploaded on YouTube, so you can watch it later after the session if you want to rewatch it. So we're looking into creating your own or painting your own characters. Right now I implemented one of Scratch's own, the apple. But I want to make my own because I think I'm a great painter and I want to show you guys. So at the bottom here, bottom right, where I showed you before, instead of clicking the sprite, you want to choose the brush just two steps up where it says paint. What it does is it gives you a clean, what we call canvas, where you can paint. And it also, as you see down here next to your characters, you have like a white character because you haven't painted anything yet. So over here to the left you can paint with the tools to the far left here. So you want to choose a brush to start painting, or you can choose these tools where you can either draw a straight line or you can make a circle or square instead of like hand drawing it. But let's see my hand drawing of a circle, but I can just quickly show you what you can do with these. So right now I'm using this circle tool, and up here you choose the color of it, and you have millions of options of colors by just dragging these around to see if you get the right combination that you actually want. If you have some color that you really want from a different character, you can choose the, I think it's called like I'm not sure what it's called, but the tool right down here at the pen thing, if you click that, it gives you the option to click on something to in your painting to get the exact same color. If you need something in the picture to have the same exact color, I can give you an option of it here in a moment. So to get out of that, you just have to right click on your mouse. But let's see if we can make a circle. I'm gonna make it a nice orange, I think. Something like that. Yes. Okay, good. Nice. Good to hear. Let's continue. Okay, so to make a circle, you can see I highlighted the circle thing by seeing that it's blue, but and I choose my color here on the top. And the outline here would be the edges of it. So let's see what happens if I just drag and drop. So hold down your left mouse button to start painting, and then you can see now I'm making a circle, and you can see the outline is the edge of the circle. You can remove that or you can keep it. So this is a nice way of making objects that are square, line, or circles. But let's see me do hand drawing instead. So to delete it, you can see right now I have selected it by it having a blue edge. So to delete it, you can just simply have it like this and then press backspace on your keyboard. That's the one right above enter, and it should remove it. So now it's gone. So I'm gonna choose my brush here, and one important thing is that you can see it's a very small brush I have here. I want to have a bigger brush to paint with, and you can change the number here above where it says 10. This is your brush size, and I can just increase it to 100 maybe, and you can already see I have a much bigger paintbrush here now. This makes something easier for whatever you're painting. So if you made a mistake in your painting and you can't just erase it with the eraser here on the left, you can go one step back in your painting by pressing the backwards arrow up here. So if I press back, you can see it just goes one step back from what I just painted. It's an easy way to undo a mistake that you maybe made. I'm just gonna go 2 steps back so I have a clean canvas, and I'm gonna try and draw a circle or a basketball I'm gonna try and paint. Let's see it. Nice one, circle. Oh, I have a question. How much delay is there on the stream? Why aren't we using Discord? So I can answer the second one first, and I think Jan can figure out the first one. But to answer the second one, why we are not using Discord, is that YouTube is more accessible for everybody. It's easier for people to chat, and it's easier to monitor the whole canvas. You wouldn't be able to in Discord to have the setup with the camera where I can literally move my camera around and have like different setups for what you guys can see, which is why this is so much easier to use on YouTube, and it's easier for you guys to just come in and join us basically. So I hope that answers your second question, and Jan posted an answer for the first question of how much delay there is. We cannot decrease the delay. This is the delay that we have the option to have from YouTube. We would need a better YouTube account to make this delay smaller, but maybe in the future we can have that. So let's move on from my basketball painting. What you see here is a yellow circle, and I'm gonna draw some nice black lines here. I'm gonna need a small brush and change the color to black. This and of course keep in mind this is me hand drawing. So nice. It's a nice basketball. Great. I'm okay with this. So this is the thing that we're going to avoid in the game. But as you see, it's already showing up in the game right now. I feel like it's a bit too big. So as you remember, we changed the size for the basketball, or for your player or character, over here to the right. make sure that you have selected the thing that you want to change. You can see right now I have like blue edges on my basketball. That means I have selected this one. So now I can change the size of it. And I'm gonna change it to 50 as well. Oh, not 5, 50. There we go. Yes. So I think this is a way better size for it, and I'm also gonna remove my apple that I have. So to remove any players or characters that you have, you just have to select it by clicking once, and you can now see it has the blue edge, and then press the cross on the top right in that image, and then it removes it. So one thing that is very good to learn when we are making games like this is we saved at the beginning, but keep saving throughout your game. So what I'm actually gonna do now is I'm gonna save one more time, just to keep saving as you keep progressing in making the game. So to save again, we have to go up to the top left, press File, press Save to your computer, and it's gonna ask you again to write a name for it. You can choose the same name, and then just if you choose the same name, I'm actually gonna do that now. It will say that you already have a game with that name, but you can just choose to override it. That means it deletes the old one and then keeps the new one. So let's see, bouncing ball, and it also suggests. You can see that. Let's see. I will show you 1 second. I'm just gonna add a window capture. So I can see you can't see the pop-up screen that allows me to save the game. So I'm just trying to show you guys that, so you can actually see me saving the game with the name. Let's see here. So now you should be able to see. So this is what I'm seeing right now. After I press save my game, it's gonna have this pop-up screen where you can see the files on your computer and where you are. And the thing that I mentioned in the beginning that you might have missed is that I want to know where I saved my game. So I always press Documents on the left here. Then I know where my game is when I have to find it again. So I'm gonna call mine bouncing ball again, and it already suggests the name for me because I already saved it once. So I'm gonna press save here, and you can't see this either. But what it did is, after pressing save, it's gonna say that you already have a game that has this name. So I'm just gonna say yes to replacing it. That means the new save is the game that's on my computer. So now we saved. Now we can continue. Keep saving to if the game or the computer should crash, you have save of your game instead of losing all the things that you made. So it's a good practice. So next thing is we have the ball now, and we have the player. The player we can actually move. Now we need the ball to be moving, and the ball has to move on its own because we are not. This is not a two-player game where one is chasing the other, so we have to have this bounce around the room, so we don't know where it's going. So to go back to the coding side, you have to go up here to the top left where it says code and costumes and sounds. We are not going to cover sounds today, but you can look into that yourself if you're interested. But if we go back to code, we can start making the movement for the basketball. Right now I have selected my cat down here on the right, and that way I'll see the code for my cat. If I press my basketball here, the screen is empty again, so this is where my code is for this specific object. So now we're gonna find the blocks to make this move around the map. So let's see here, we're gonna need some movement, and as you remember, we have the move block. That's the so anything related to moving around is always the blue blocks. That's one way you can remember that. And we want to move 10 steps. So again here the number, the higher the number, the faster it moves. But we're gonna keep it at 10 first, but you can change it to whatever number you feel like. The higher the number, the more difficult the game becomes. But let's see what happens. So to make this move on its own, we don't need a key input from your keyboard, but we do need the forever block, because we need it to move forever throughout the whole game. We don't need it to move 10 steps once in the game. We need it to move forever. That's one way you can remember the forever block. And to find that again, it's underneath control. That's the orange one here in the middle. And then it should be the third block, saying forever. So now you can put the move inside the forever. So to test it without having the green flag block, you can just press the code once. So if I try and press my forever here, you can see my ball over here is actually moving. So and my code is active because you can see the yellow edge again on the code. And you'll see I can actually go in and drag my my basketball here, but if I slip it, if I you can see it start moving again. So it's like something you can't control. So we know the code is working because it's moving 10 steps and in the direction that it's looking. So to stop it again, I can just press the code one more time, and then the yellow edge disappears, and I can actually move my ball here, so it doesn't move away from me. But we need this to happen whenever we start the game. So we need the green flag again, because we don't want to, whenever we show the game to someone, we don't want to press the code each time. We want to have the game start by itself. So we need the green flag for that. So yeah, when clicked, and we're just gonna add it on top. And you can see this block is a bit different. It only allows for blocks to be underneath it, the green flag, because that's a starting block. So if I try and press the green flag here on the right, you can see it starts on its own and it starts moving. The next step for the ball would be for it to bounce off the wall. And to do that, we actually have a block called bouncing if it hits the edges. And to find that, I believe it's not under sensing, it's under motion. There we go. Yes. So in motion, all the way at the bottom, you should be able to find one called if on edge bounce. So this one, this blue block. And we can actually just add it underneath our move block. So now you can actually see, because my code is active and I just added this, it just keeps bouncing. And you might notice my ball is currently moving slightly up and down after each bounce. That's because my the painting that I made wasn't exactly in the center, so it's like it's moving around something. So to explain that a bit easier, I have to go back to my painting of it. But first I'll stop my game by pressing the red button up here. So to go back to the painting, you go up to the top left again, and under costumes, while having your character selected. So to find the exact center here, I have to move it. So to move your painting, make sure you move everything. If you did a lot of details, you have to select the cursor over here. And then you can drag and drop. As you see, I make a square, and then I release it. And now you can see I've selected everything. Everything has like a small blue edge. Then I can just hold and drag here, and then move around. So in the very center here, I'm gonna try and move in. Let's see if we can find it. There is a small marker in the center. I'll see if I can show it a bit better. There it is. You can see here, this small marker. It's a bit it's a bit hard to see because it's gray on a somewhat gray background. But this is the marker that you want to be the center of your painting. So I'm gonna see if I can drag this on top hit the somewhat center of it. If you want to zoom out and be in the center, you can press the two lines down here on the bottom right. It's gonna center your image. And then I can try and zoom in again. So I'm pretty happy with this. So if I try and start my game again, it shouldn't be moving like this, moving a bit up and down. But let's see what happens. Okay, that's way better. Now it's not moving a lot up and down, but it's actually trying to move back and forth. However, this seems like a pretty simple game to avoid. So we need it to turn a bit each time it bounces, because then we don't know where it's going and have a harder time avoiding it. So let's see what we can do. So I'm gonna stop my game again and go back to the code. Yes, Jan had a good idea. So we're gonna turn it by random number. So we don't know how much it's turning, so we can't predict it. So you have to be up on your toes when you're playing the game and react really quick. So let's see if we can make that. So right now we have the movement block. So we don't have to continue on this one. We can actually make a new one right next to it. So we can easily read our code. What we just have to make sure is having another green flag right next to it. So that would activate that block of code. So first find another green flag here. I'm just gonna have it right next to it. You can have it wherever, but I like to have them in columns right next to each other. So let's see here. So for this block we are gonna have it, if it hits the edge, it's gonna turn. Yeah, so it's gonna turn. And to do that, we need what we call an if block. We used it for movement, and we can remember this by an if block is basically asking a question, and if it's right or wrong, it's gonna do a code or not. So you're gonna need one if block, as we did in the beginning. But this time we're not gonna ask the program for if we're hitting a key on your keyboard, but we're gonna ask if something hits the edge. And you have to go back into sensing again, the light loop. And up at the very top here you have one called touching. Right now it says mouse pointer, which is if you want to use your mouse in the game. But we are interested in seeing or finding out if our ball is hitting the edge. And if you press the mouse pointer, you can change it into the option called edge. And now you can see it changes, and now we can drag it in here. You can also change it after you dragged it into your code by just pressing it again and changing it. But we want to use the option called edge. And then we can add it to the if again. And remember, it has to, when you're holding it, you should see a white edge. And when you see that, you can release your mouse button, and then it attaches to the if. This is very important. It has to be part of this if now. When I'm moving it around, you can see it's part of it. And then I can add it to my green flag. But right now there's nothing inside the if here. So we need to add the turn of the ball. And since we're turning, it's a movement, so you have to go back to the motion blocks, the blue ones. And we already did turning for our player, so you can choose either the left or right. It doesn't really matter which one you take. So right now, if our ball hits the edge, it's gonna turn by 15. And 15 is something in math that we call degrees, so it's to show you instead, I think that's easier. You see here on where we control the size of your player, right to the right of it, you have direction where it says 90. If you press that once, you get this circle with an arrow pointing to the right. So instead of using the numbers to understand it, you can just drag this around to see what the number changes into. But to make a full, just to quickly explain degrees, a full circle is 360 degrees. So if I move this all the way around, you can actually, okay, so they're making it a bit different here. So it goes up to 180 and then to minus 180. which in total would be 660. But that doesn't matter. Let's move on. I'm gonna change it back to 90, which was the default. There we go. That 90 is always to the right. But again, we're gonna need a forever because we want this code to always happen. If we don't use a forever block, this code would only run once we start the game for a split second, if it was true. So let's find the forever block again, and it's in the orange one, the flip block. Instead of taking out the if and adding it to the forever like this, you can actually add it directly to it by holding it, and you can see then it has like this shadow showing that it's gonna eat all these blocks, and you just release it here, and then you add it directly to your code. It's a much quicker way if you just wanna add and take away. But if you want to take them apart, you can't just take the forever. You have to take out the if of it to split them apart again. So right now, actually, the code. If we start it, so let's test our game. It's a good idea to keep testing. So let's see what happens whenever it hits the edges. So you can actually see that it turns, but it turns the same amount. So I would know where the ball is going. So this becomes way too easy again for me to actually play. So we want the ball to go in a random direction. So we need a random number between the numbers that I said before, the minus 180 and up to 180. So to find a random block, you have to go into what we call operators. We're not gonna go much in detail with these, but this is about numbers and calculations. So if you go in here, you will find a block called pick random, and we're gonna need this, and this is basically what we are gonna need from the operators. So right now, by default, it's saying 1 to 10, so it's gonna pick a random number between 1 and 10, but we want it to pick a random number between 300 minus 180 up to plus 180. So if you just write the same number as me, minus, that's like a small line, and then 180, and in the second box you're gonna write 180. So it should look like this. Oh, yes. Oh, I forgot to stop my game, and apparently it creates some interruption on the stream. So yeah, I have to remember that. So I have my random block now that's gonna pick a random direction for me, or a random number. So for it to be changing my directions, I have to add it here where it says 15. So again, you can see it has this white edge when it attaches to it, and then you just release it, and now it's part of that block of code. So if we quickly test the game again, we should see that is that more random? Yeah, okay, so now it's actually picking a random direction. So now I don't know where it's going. It could go the same direction back again, which makes it more difficult to avoid it when we have to. So now we have the movement of our own player, and we have the enemy, in this case the ball, moving on its own. Now we need to stop the game whenever we hit the ball, because that's game over. So we need a game over function, what we call. So to have the game stop whenever we hit something, we're gonna make that code. We can make it here where we are making the code for the ball, or we can make it in the, where we have the cat. Yes. So quickly so before we end the session, I just want to add this game over code for you. So if you go into your cat code again, so by selecting your cat and then see your movement code, we're gonna add, as we did before, another green flag to have like the code split up, and here we're gonna add it a game over basically code. That's a game over block. see here, so we need to ask if we are hitting the ball, and to do that we need the if to ask for the question, and then we need to see if we are hitting it, like we're hitting the edges. We need to go into sensing and then the touching again. So instead of changing this to edge, we actually our mouse pointer, we're gonna choose sprite 2, which is the name of my ball, as you see here. So now I can do something whenever I hit it. And to stop everything, you have to go into control, and then there is stop all down here. The stop all should be almost at the bottom, and if you just add that code, we should see that if I hit it, let's see if I can catch it. Oh, so I forgot something again. So if you can see what I did wrong, is that I have an if statement without a forever. So it doesn't detect me hitting the ball actually. So I'm just gonna add my forever here, and then the game should be working. And split these two up. There we go. And then I'm gonna hit the ball now. Then everything should start. See. So if I hit the ball now, the whole game stops. So that's basically what we managed to do today. Hopefully you were able to follow me and without any major issues, and hopefully I answered the questions that you might have. But we are ending this session for today, and we'll continue next Wednesday in the same way, creating more stuff on this game and maybe starting up a new game. But hopefully you liked the stream for today, and we will see